Blah. What?
I'm just look. The reason I started a show like that because I'm getting tired of starting every podcast now. Like, hey, this is Shirt Space with my wife Lauren and myself. How you doing? Let's just jump into the fun conversation. Let's jump in randomly. I love the randomness of it all. I love it. Let's do it.
I was on the spot. I didn't realize you were doing that.
That's the best part. That's the best part.
I don't like when I'm on the spot.
I should start every podcast that way. I think I'm going to start all my podcasts I do with False Count with Rob, the NBA show with Greg, all my guests I bring on there, just jump into conversation. Just jump into it.
Okay.
I just hate, like, sometimes, like, sound like standard, like, oh, hey, Earnestly Speaking Podcast. This is Earnest Christian alongside.
Welcome to Shared Space.
Yeah. See, now I don't mind doing it, because now I'm like 58 seconds into the show now. I don't care. I don't care. But to start a standard like that, I'm almost over it. Let's just go for broke, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Go for broke.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, but that wasn't the way I expected to bring the show in.
Okay, so this week's episode, we are going to talk about something that's really the world is talking about right now. The new Michael Jackson biopic. This dropped last week, actually, as I was recording. Now, this is unique here because, okay, so we're going to review the movie, although it's weird because we're reviewing a movie that
You've
only
seen
half of us
twice, and I have not seen it all.
At all. But you do trust what because obviously as you guys all know, I am a diehard, hardcore, massive, any big word you want to put that applies to who I am that as a Michael Jackson fan, okay? And I'm not one of those fake ass people who's like jumping the bandwagon now. Oh, it's fun to like Michael now. No, bro, y'all know how I roll, okay? My oldest son is named after him for crying out loud, okay? So let's not play around there, okay? However, we are talking about the biopic. Unique situation because, again, you did not see it yet. You do not, I guess, want to see it anymore because you want it's weird. I've seen it twice already. I had my issues with it. I reviewed it on the podcast earlier in the week about my issues with the movie. You've already reviewed it once already? Yes. Okay. So I went more in detail on that one. But I want to get your candor on this one, too, because we were going to go together as a family initially the night after I saw it by myself, which, by the way, I requested that because I wanted to be by myself in the theater because I wanted to take it in, make sure it was appropriate for my youngest son to see number one, our youngest son, rather, see number one. Number two, I also wanted to take it in by myself because this is Michael Jackson. This is something personal for me. So I may be very emotional, which I'm sure it was. I cried 3 times, okay? I saw it a second time. I cried 1 time. So... Now, having said that, I've seen twice already. Probably going to see it a 3rd time at some point. You decide not to watch the movie. At least for now, anyway. Yeah. Why?
I mean, first and foremost, I really didn't care for the I guess it's the directors that did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, it was a producer. Graham King.
Okay.
The director was Antoine Fuqua, who was The Training Day and a couple other movies of that nature.
Okay, so
really very talented.
It was done by the same people who had done Bohemian Rhapsody.
Basically the same production group, yes.
And I did not care for that movie. Yeah. There is something that I am finding with these kinds of movies that it's just very much not in my wheelhouse of things that I like.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm not getting enough of the life story. I'm not getting enough of the inner monologue that is going on in their heads. I am getting the backstage stuff of, oh, this is what happened during this music video, and this is what happened during this tour, and blah, 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 and like all the shit I already know. So I'm not getting enough from these movies as far as how these people were personally, how they operated, how their brains functioned, how they thought things through, how they, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm also not getting enough of what happened outside of the tours, outside of the music videos. We obviously know Michael Jackson is the king of pop. Yeah. We obviously know he's got a jillion, hits, and everybody knows him. It's not like we don't know Michael Jackson. And obviously, being with you for 20 years, I know enough about Michael Jackson to, understand.
To pass a class, if we were going to a class, you'll pass it.
Yes.
With an A, because you're my husband in that.
Yes. Yeah. So like I already know parts of the life story, but what I want more of is the family time, the downtime, the times that he was just, trying to live normal life.
And you got that to an extent, but was not fleshed out enough.
No.
Like I said, I when I reviewed the show, the movie rather, on an episode I did early in the week, it was pros and cons. And I explained to you guys that the problem with this movie is that you're this is a very colorful life of 45 years, okay? Which started in the movie 1966, which ended in 1988, okay? And even in those years, there's a lot that goes on. And they skipped out a shit ton of stuff between 1971 and 1978. They skipped his entire teenage years, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Which there's a lot of things in there that you could have got dive into. His acne issues, which was a massive deal. Mm-hmm. Him having acne and his dad continuously teasing him. They showed a glimpse of the trauma and abuse he took from Joseph, but not enough to it was enough, but was not enough, because it was much more than people give credit for.
That's the thing, is if you know enough about Michael Jackson, you know that his dad abused him. You know that his dad abused all the kids,
both physically and mentally.
Used them as a product, a way to make money, and I know how big of a role that plays in not just Michael's life, but in all the Jackson kids' lives. And I don't need to see it. I already know it. I need to see what I would want from this movie is more of Michael's thought process when it comes to that. How he dealt with it, how he got through every day, how he, the songs that he wrote and why he wrote them. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I need. I don't need the theatrics of how he, did the Thriller video or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally agree with you.
This is not what I want. It's not what I need.
And those the things you're saying there are exactly what I was critical of, and I told you the night I saw it. Like, for someone like me, I don't care about the music stuff. I know the stuff about music. I know Thriller. And to be honest with you, that's the part of the low parts of the movie for me is the fact that they were recreating the making a Beat It, the making a Thriller. No offense. I get it. I have to be careful, because I said this for months leading to the movie, that this movie is not for me. It is not for the hardcore fans. This is for the casuals who may not know enough about his life story. But to give you a little bit of life story enough to feed you that, but also, there's a balancing actor, of course. And hardcore fans are always going to be a little more critical of it because of the fact that they have, especially me, different expectations. But the reason why I came away a lot more positive with this movie than I thought I would was because those expectations I had going into the movie, I had measured them way before. I realized, knowing Graham King, knowing Bohemian Rhapsody, and I'm also a diehard Queen fan. And I had criticism of Queen as well too, and that movie as well too, to the point where like they'll make mistakes and leave things out. I already came into this movie knowing what to expect. Now, obviously, there were things they did they still kept out, which I thought, okay, do whatever. But it is what it is. The reason I still gave it 7 out, and by the way, when I saw it the second time, I lowered my score. When I initially saw it, I said 7.5 out of 10. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
Then I saw it the second time with the kids, and I lowered my score to 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
For myriad reasons. Mainly, the main thing for me that, okay, and I got to set up here and be clear about this. I am very tortured on Joe Jackson, his father. Okay, in a sense that both things can be right here. Joe Jackson, yes, got his kids and his family out of the poorest city in this country. Okay, we're talking about a guy going through what he went through pre-civil rights era, but also at the same time, he also added a lot of trauma to not just to Michael, but a lot of the kids too. Also, mainly Michael, because he was the lead singer. So both can be right here. I think people want so many absolutes. And I think the only thing that bothered me about this movie is that, yes, Joe Jackson was the quote-unquote bad guy. But they owe it to Joe to give him context as to why he was the way he was, okay? You remember, this is a black man living in a poor city in the country, raising 9 kids, okay, with all that pressure as a black man in a pre-civil rights era. That has to matter in the story, too. It can't just be that Joe, bad guy, boom, done in the discussion.
But I think you're focusing too much on him. Because that's the thing, is regardless of what you know about Joe, what he did to Michael and the other Jackson kids, the whole family, is what impacted them the most.
Correct.
So when you're doing a biopic on Michael, you are not focusing on Joe and why he did what he did. It's just a matter of him doing what he did.
Right.
And how that affected Michael. And my point is that I want to know how it impacted Michael. I want to know exactly what went through his head, how he lived through that kind of thing, and even into like his what is the word? Like his uniqueness, what made him an animal lover, what made him want a chimpanzee, what made him had a freaking llama. Like I want to know where these thoughts came from, where, like what made him do that.
Right.
And obviously we're never going to get that because Michael is no longer with us, but
you can get that. Like
you get certain.
Well, this is the thing though. As I keep telling people, you can get that with Michael. Watch his interviews. It's out there. He's very open about that kind of stuff.
But this is why I loved the musical so much.
Yeah, by far. But for the record, and you and I agree with this. You haven't seen the movie yet, obviously. Even I agree that MJ musical is a far better representation of Michael Jackson's story than the movie is.
Yeah,
I still stand by that.
And the way that they incorporated his music to fit what he was dealing with in his life, like that is what I need, and I'm not going to get that from this. So for me to go see it in a theater, I don't feel like sitting in a theater for 2 hours to watch a movie that I know that I'm not really going to
enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, not that I won't enjoy it, because obviously, who doesn't enjoy Michael Jackson? Right. Who doesn't enjoy his music? He has great music. You can't even if you hate the guy, you can't hate his music. It's just it's so good.
Personally, I don't know how you can hate the guy personally, but that's just me.
But people do. You are a hardcore fan. But that's the thing is, people can be convinced in their own minds of how he was as a person and whatever, But it's very hard to differentiate, or not differentiate, but to separate.
Artists
for him, I think it's easier. There are certain people I could, all day, every day, never watch another,
Who?
Oh my gosh. Who's the guy from House of Cards?
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
I could never again watch any of his movies. I don't care. That doesn't bother me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, done. You're piece of shit. Goodbye. You know what I mean? But when it comes to Michael, obviously, you and I know he was found not guilty. He's not a fucking Jeffrey Epstein, for crying out loud. He's definitely not that.
By the way, fucking Dan Reed from Leaving Neverland fucking making comments he made over the
fuck
weekend.
That guy. He's a fucking liar.
Fuck you, okay?
But anyway.
Fuck you, Dan Reed. Okay?
Yes.
Fuck you. Go ahead.
You're a liar and a cheat. But anyway.
Yeah.
What was my point?
Can I say fuck you again while you didn't say Dan Reed?
You could say fuck you all
Dan
you
Reed.
want.
No,
say
piece of shit.
Want. This is what I was trying to explain is that it's very hard to. you could dislike Michael Jackson as a person. You could dislike all the Jacksons. I don't give a shit. But his music in and of itself, there is no way in hell that you're ever going to put on any one of those songs and not tap your foot. You know what I mean? There is not any way that you can listen to Thriller in the car and not go, okay, yeah, that's a bop. You know what I mean? Like we all enjoy his music, so I won't not enjoy the movie, but I definitely won't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the
And for the record,
musical.
it makes sense too. You feel this way also because you by nature already picky with movies, even movies you do love.
Yep.
So you are a very hard critic.
Yep.
So I respect that. Like I remember you were critical of Black Panther. Like you liked it, but you saw things in there that didn't make any sense. Like even the movies you love, even Wicked, you're a massive Wicked fan. Part 2, you had issues with it.
Yeah.
You know, so like you are consistent with that. So I respect that. Like, do you remember like what Bohemian Rhapsody? Do you remember what the issue was back then that you had?
It was, again, you didn't get enough Freddie out of it. You got Queen. You got the songs.
I mean, it really is a story about the band, though, not about
dealing with the agent. I understand that, but even then, I didn't get enough Freddie.
And I think they took more liberties than they did in the Michael movie. Like, I think I'll say the biggest shock for me in this movie from the Michael movie, in comparison to Bohemian Rhapsody, as a guy who's a massive fan of both artists, is that they actually made less mistakes in the Michael movie in terms of timelines. Now, look, they did make some mistakes, but it wasn't as egregious as the one with Queen.
Yeah.
Okay. They got the part about Joe Jackson getting fired wrong. He got fired in 1983, not 1981. The llama, when he got Bubbles, I think they had him getting Bubbles in the 1980s, 79, 80. No, he got Bubbles later on in that. He got Bubbles like closer to like 82, 83. No, so that was wrong also too. But overall, they did a good job of staying consistent with this timeline of, when these big moments. Again, my biggest problem in the movie is obviously the Joe Jackson part. I told you, big issue for me. Number 2, what was I gonna say? There's a lot of gaps in there, and again, I know a lot of it too is because they probably didn't have the rights to it. So because they skipped 7 years between 1971 and 1978, you missed the Acne, you missed also the Wiz, you missed the first 2.
I don't understand how they don't put the Wiz in there. Right. I don't understand. Sorry, I just yawned, but I don't understand how you don't put the Wiz in there.
Yeah, I don't know how you skip the Wiz too. Also, what I think they probably, because they don't have the rights to the Wiz, they can use it.
But then why wouldn't you why wouldn't you ask for permission to use it? That's a massive.
Costs money.
I understand that, but even still, like, how do you do? I don't know. Never mind.
No,
I don't know how you don't put the Wiz in there.
You miss Acne, you miss leaving Motown, you missed the first 2 albums with the Jacksons. The first
you
3
miss
albums, really.
leaving Motown.
Yeah, they go literally from Michael and the kids. Michael's like 13, 14 years old in 1971, 13 years old in 71, to he's now 20 years old in 1978. He just left Motown 2 years earlier, but you missed like 2 albums. You actually missed 3 albums because they don't even acknowledge Destiny. They don't acknowledge the subtitle album, Jackson's album. They don't acknowledge the Golden Places
album. They
album.
basically skip right over the Jacksons.
Well, no, they go to Jackson, but they go into Off the Wall, and then the next Jackson's record tour, which is the Triumph tour, and then the last, of course, the end of the movie, which is the Victory tour, which is Michael's last tour with his brothers. But they missed so much in there. But again, I don't think they thought those were important enough to make those weren't landmark points. And again, this is the problem with Michael Jackson. His life is so colorful. It's like you got to pick the points that matter. And look, I'm just being picky for the sake of because I'm a fan. Were those things needed in the end? Well, they probably could have been used because I would have sacrificed the making of Thriller and the making of Beat It, even 5 minutes into those scenes, and use those 5 minutes per scene into like what they miss in the front end of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to your point, this is why I agree with you. Like me personally, I don't care about the art because I know the art. It's out there. But again, I'm not the audience, so I get it.
No, you're not. And I don't think, I think our kids are, you know what I mean?
Oh, they loved it. They loved it.
Our kids are the audience.
They'll lock
people
in.
Who are like in their early 20s, that's the audience. The people that are Jafar Jackson's age, that's who they're targeting it towards. And that's just overall.
The reason I still graded the movie high as I did in the 7s, as a B, you call that, is because while I might have issues with the storytelling of it, the performances though were amazing. Jafar Jackson, first time acting ever, and your first ever role in acting in a massive worldwide movie. Okay, it's not some movies out in the United States. No, this is a worldwide event.
Yeah.
You're literally playing the role of the greatest entertainer in history of music, okay? Who happens to be your fucking uncle.
But honestly,
okay?
in all seriousness here,
Go ahead.
Nobody else could do it.
Honestly, after what I saw, no.
But you would need somebody who understood, who knew him. You know what I mean?
Who has a lineage.
Yes. You
Right.
you couldn't just use some random guy off the street. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Or even who in Hollywood would play
which
Michael
for the record,
Jackson?
I hate. I'm someone who hates impersonators. Ask all my friends will tell you I cannot stand impersonators. Okay, so people who are trying to cut Michael Jackson, I just don't like it. It just to me, I just don't like it. It's been a thing for me for years. Okay, so I knew Jafar would be good, not question. I didn't see this shit. I thought, okay, he'll be really good, and he ain't Michael, but he has to be good enough. But when I saw that movie on the first time and even the second time, I'm like, yo.
Yeah,
they nailed
because it had to be though.
They nailed he nailed his voice to a T. Like if you close your and I did that.
Grew up listening to it.
Right.
That's why.
And if I close my eye and I close my 2020 this morning when I saw the movie, close your eyes while he's talking. You swear to God you think Michael Jackson talking to you. And I did that and like, yep. And I've never ever said about anybody else that ever did Michael Jackson, imitate Michael Jackson in any form of it's insane how I mean I was stunned how good he was, and the performances were great too. Also, like I think his role's Oscar worthy. I think Coleman Domingo's role as Joe Jackson's Oscar worthy. I think Nia Long has a shot at the Oscars too. Also, the young kid, I feel bad missing his name. The young Michael who played J5 Michael. Phenomenal job for the first 30 minutes of the movie. The reason I rated it so high is because the performances were amazing.
Yeah,
that's what got to me was the performances. The issues of the storytelling. That's all it is for me. So,
okay.
But otherwise, I would encourage people who have not seen the movie, listen to the podcast, definitely go see it. Judge it for yourself. Fuck the critics. Okay, you heard what I said? Fuck the critics, because I'll say it again. There is and it has been for 30 fucking years, a anti-Michael Jackson agenda going back to the mid-'80s.
Yep.
Okay? Stop it. Okay? Because you have, as of right now, I think it was like 39% in Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Something like that.
Critic grade, right?
Yeah.
The audience, however, is saying is 97%. Obviously, the audience means more. Obviously, the audience matters more.
That's because a lot of the critics didn't really critique the movie per se.
Some did, and some of them
did,
and some of them were and some of them were actually fair.
But I watched videos of critics who were like, "Could you guys stop critiquing it for things that it's not? Critique it for what it is."
Right.
Like so that we could actually do our jobs.
Like they're actually getting mad over things that were not in there, even though they were already explained that those things were not part of the timeline they're covering.
Right.
So why are you mad about that? Like, if you're critiquing the movie itself, that's one thing, and I get that, because I may have the same critique as you do, but you're not doing that.
And the only reason they can't even argue it is because, like, it was supposed to be there, and then they switched it up.
And again, they were going to be in the movie. The original script of the movie.
But I think that's why the critics feel like they can critique it that way.
But what they're doing now is that they're saying that they're trying to sanitize it. No, the reason why the allegations are not in there, okay, was because of a legal issue.
Right.
They can't use Jordan Chandler's name in the movie.
Right.
Okay. The original script, in fact, had the movie opening at Neverland with the first police raid. So again, you to say that they never intended to do this is fucking bullshit, because they literally put $20 million in reshoots, only because it was damn freaking NDA.
$21?
$21 million in reshoots. $21. I wish it was $21. Shit. Can you imagine that? $21. You're so stupid.
I'm pretty sure that's what you just said, though.
21 pilots?
21 pilots.
No, it's true. No, now, having said that, it sounds like It hasn't been confirmed yet. I know there's reports online saying that, oh my God, part 2's coming. It's likely to happen, but there's no confirmation. But all the signs are pointing that way. This movie is ready in this first week. $217 million worldwide, nearly $100 million domestically alone in just 3 days.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
Okay, for a guy that's been dead 17 years that you guys are clearly, people think no one cares about. That's what I heard.
No one's going to stop caring about Michael.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So.
Because even the fans like you are never going to let it go. One, but also two, because you're going to pass it on. So, like.
There you go. So, before we get out of here, will you see the movie at some point?
Yeah, probably when it comes on
streaming
or whatever, and I can sit down and actually watch it.
Okay. So, you're not going to movie theaters to see it?
I'm also not a big movie theater person.
I've become a theater guy now.
I only like going for, like, the big movies, but even then, recently, I think the only ones I've even seen in theaters were Wicked and then whatever we see with the kids.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was talking to Eli about this, actually. We were at the theaters together watching the movie. And even before COVID, I was going to movie theaters like maybe twice a year, tops. You and I growing up, we would go to theaters once every freaking week or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that has diminished slowly, mainly because of the quality of movies that come out in recent years. Having said that, though, going to the movies for me now has kind of turned into an event for me, in a sense, where I don't go as often anymore, but if there's something I want to watch, I make a big deal about it.
I mean, but even then, we only really go for, like, the kids' movies or, like,
yes,
the movies. Like, I went for Wicked and Wicked Part 2, but
I have tried to go recently to try to do an Oscars podcast every year, and every year I try to do it, it fails on its fucking head. I'm going to try again next year, but I need to know what movies are going to be up for Oscars early on and get enough time to watch the movies.
we could do that. We could make it happen.
I have to make sure, but you only got like 2 months to cram it though to watch them all.
You have to focus.
You're asking the wrong person to focus. Me focus?
I know, it drives me nuts.
That's who I am. So anyway, like I said, if you guys have not seen the movie yet, go check it out. Michael in theaters now. It's a solid movie. It really is. As someone who's very critical and a diehard fan, it's definitely worth watching. So that's it for me. Anything else want to add before we get out of here?
No.
Goodbye. Goodbye.